Today we're going to make this mini radio control airplane from this other airplane. This airplane is very small, simple and cheap. It doesn't have any servos, it uses only 2 motors, and by controlling their power you can go up, down, or you can even use differential thrust to change the direction. So if you want to go to the right, the left motor will produce more thrust and the right one will produce less. And that's how simple it is. It's very simple, but it works. Nevertheless, I don't recommend this for people who want to seriously start in the hobby. But it's perfect for children because it's very simple to make, and if you just want to have fun, this is also perfect for you. Plus, it's very cheap compared to other model airplanes. Using the same principle, we're going to create a new airplane with the same electronics. You can buy all the electronics from Banggood.com. They sell the airplane, or you can also buy the parts separately, which makes it even cheaper. I'll leave the links in the description below. Even the popular channel Flight Test are selling the same model of this airplane, but with their brand, and also with improved instruction manual. They have also introduced 3 little airplanes called FD Easy Series. These little airplanes use also the same electronics and they're very simple to make. They say that the idea behind this is to make it easier for children and young people to build their first airplane without the complicated electronics as servos and receivers and all of that. And honestly, I think it's a great idea. Connecting and setting up the electronics of bigger airplanes can be intimidating. This project is a very first good experience for young people, also very cheap, but it won't teach you everything you need to know, but it will only teach you the basics. And it also guarantees less frustration and more fun. This first project has an introduction to the hobby is a very good idea. If you like it, you might take the next step. So I'm going to design my airplane from scratch. I'm going to keep the measurements almost the same as the other airplane, but the design will be entirely different. This is because I don't want it overweight, although if you can make it bigger keeping the weight, it will also work. Depending on the design, the flight characteristics can be entirely different, so that's up to you experimenting different designs. But if you want to make this design that I'm making right now, I'm going to leave the link in the description below so you can download the plans. You can also make a similar design to the ones made in Flight Test, but because they are being sold, they're not sharing their plans. However, you can see on their other channel, Flight Test Tech, how they make the airplanes. Once my design is ready, I print it in one sheet and start cutting them out. Then I transfer the shape of the pieces to foam board. We just need a small sheet of foam board because this airplane is very small. The wings are going to have this polyhedral, so that will make the airplane more stable in flight. And we're going to peel off the paper on the bottom side of the wings to make it lighter. I always like to give the wings the shape of an airfoil. You can skip this, but I prefer to do it because it makes it more aerodynamic and it can generate a little bit more lift. Now I'm going to give it more curvature to the wings to produce more lift. Then I'm going to cut a little bit the edges of the dihedral so it is easier to bend. And then we glue the wings together. Just make sure to use a proper glue so it doesn't eat the material. And then I put glue in the dihedral to reinforce it, but I was using the wrong glue, so it was eating the material away. I had to use another one. You have to put the wing upside down and raise it above the table about 2 centimeters. The wingtips should be touching the table. And that's the correct dihedral you should have. While letting the glue dry, you can reinforce it with some tape. I finally joined the wing and the fuselage and used some more tape to reinforce everything. Now I'm going to take the electronics out of the other airplane to transfer it to the new airplane. There are just few components, which are the main board and two motors. This control board has an accelerometer that will correct the direction of the airplane in flight. If the wind disturbs the direction of the airplane, the accelerometer will sense that and will command the motors to act accordingly to maintain the course. Placing the electronics in this other airplane is very simple. We have to put the motors and then the control board. And now it's ready, but I didn't notice that I placed the control board the other way around, and that causes the accelerometer to act incorrectly, amplifying any disturbance from the wind. To deal with that, we can turn the control board or we can swap the position of the motors. Then, when placing the battery, which is the heaviest component, make sure that the center of gravity is right. Keeping the right center of gravity is important for the airplane to fly, otherwise it won't fly and it will be very frustrating. Our airplane is ready to fly. I want to paint it, but I want to know if it flies first, so I'm going now to fly it. You have to bind this system every time you use it. For that you have to turn on the airplane and your radio, place the airplane on a flat surface, then throttle up and down, and it's bound. It works very well. I'm very happy with the results. I'm just going to trim the elevator down a little bit so it doesn't go up too much when I throttle up. Now it's flying a lot better. Only that today there is a little bit of wind, but for these airplanes it's a lot because they're very small. And now it's time to customize it. I'm going to paint it yellow and give it a very basic design. And I have gave it the name Binary, because it uses only two motors. And there you have it, our airplane, it's ready. So now I'm going to fly it once again. Although this airplane is very simple and you don't have extensive control over it, it works just fine and it's very fun. Alright, that's it for today's video. I hope you really liked this project. It's very easy and very cheap, so try to make yours, and for now I'll see you in the next project.